family gatherings, not just bars, not just out in streets where people are protesting and the like. It's specifically family gatherings where family members, or rather households, extended and immediate family members, begin to mix and they take down their guard. They may walk into that barbecue with masks on. They may put the cooler down. Immediately the mask comes off and you have a glass of water, and all of a sudden nieces and nephews start congregating around, and then they're jumping on top of Uncle Joe, and then Uncle Joe's putting them back to Aunt Jane, and all of a sudden here comes Uncle Bob 2 hours late. He gives everyone a hug, and they're, hey, Uncle Bob, where's the mask? And Uncle Bob, I don't believe it. So the whole thing starts to take shape, and you start to see kind of spread that is the top concern that our health officers have when we surveyed them over the weekend. Family gatherings. What more concern than would we have moving into a weekend where family gatherings are part of the tradition of 4th of July? And so we're going to need to do more expressing our concern about that, messaging more about the seriousness of face coverings and physical distancing, and really being a little bit more aggressive as it relates to guidelines on 4th of July. So anticipate that will be coming tomorrow as well. So with that, we're happy to take any questions.
Governor Scott Schaefer from KQED. I'll try to speak over the horns here and the protesters. First question from Aaron Baldessari at KQED. What funding is available for ongoing long-term Project Roomkey sites, and what will you do to counties that refuse to buy into this program? How are you going to hold them accountable?
Well, we have 52 counties that have participated in Project Roomkey, and we're very grateful to those 52 counties, and we're rewarding good behavior. This is not a requirement. I'm not the mayor of California. I can't demand that at the local level that counties participate or cities participate in this program. But those counties, those cities that do, we're very grateful, and they're being rewarded with funding now, new funding in this budget that I just signed, $550 million specifically for acquisition of hotels like this. In addition to that, we're doing a lot more to provide ongoing support services. Again, $1.3 billion that is being made available in the next year.
Governor Matt Levin from Cal Matters asks, experts warn of a looming eviction wave that could make thousands more Californians homeless. Once the state of emergency ends, no state law currently protects renters from being evicted for non-payment of rent during the pandemic. Do you support prohibiting evictions for non-payment of rent during the pandemic?
Yeah, but look, I extended an executive order in this space. That executive order also provided clarification, provided clarity for counties that would allow them to go further than even the state moratorium on eviction. Difficult and challenging opportunity to express a more comprehensive response with some of the activities in the past. Look forward to following more fully up on that question.
And a question from Mackenzie Hawkins, Sacramento Bee. Is the state offering any incentives to local governments to participate in the program? And if not, do you anticipate that some cities will oppose or decline to participate, as some already are?
We've done something unprecedented in this nation. We're providing unprecedented support for cities and counties to support a program for our most vulnerable residents. We're making a real impact, and we've had 14,200 individuals that substantively have been the beneficiaries of this program. We're putting an additional $1.3 billion to extend the spirit and principle of this program, and we're looking forward to working with those counties that haven't participated and encourage them to participate. And obviously, we're going to make sure that those that are participating very actively and successfully, that they're rewarded in that process as well.
Governor, I guess we have time for one more question. As the pool reporter, I feel I have to just say that these are Black Lives Matter protesters holding signs and asking for a redistribution of resources. Governor, San Quentin has over 1,000 inmates and more than 100 staff there have tested positive. The new state budget you signed holds counties responsible for not containing the spread of the virus. Given the strategic and avoidable situation at the prison, How would you characterize the handling of this and who's being held accountable?
I'm sorry, the last part of that, Scott.
Regarding San Quentin, given
No,
the
I got
tragic and avoidable situation at San Quentin, how would you characterize the handling of it and who is being held accountable?
Well, I spoke to this question in detail yesterday, and forgive me because of the noise. Maybe I referred you to comments I made during our press conference yesterday. Know that today it's 1,082 inmates now have tested positive in San Quentin. We're bringing in tents. We brought in a series of teams to help support the efforts there. We actually are also providing more support with their medical staff, which is a big issue, bringing medical staff from other facilities. But again, yesterday I answered that question in terms of the framework and guidelines we're putting out. Tomorrow we'll be having a very public discussion in the legislature about the details of our plan. Know that we have been very focused on this, and we are working very, very closely with our health director.
County money to enforcement of state guidance in the mask order. What criteria are you looking at to determine adequate enforcement? And secondly, LA put a mandatory mask order in place weeks before the state did, yet their situation is getting worse. What happened there? Is it due to a lack of enforcement?
We're focusing, we have a mandate statewide to wear masks. We believe wearing face coverings can mitigate the spread and the transmission of this virus. We think it's one of the most important non-pharmaceutical interventions to mitigate the spread of COVID-19 in this state. As I said just a moment ago on top of my remarks, we'll be doing more to focus on enforcement in this state. Enforcement comes in many different shapes, meaning primarily it's local enforcement, but also we have, and I've mentioned this yesterday and in prior public comments, we have conditioned